There is a deep power in restraint, one that few truly understand. In a world where arguments dominate conversations, where being right seems more important than being at peace, the chosen ones of God are set apart not by their ability to win debates, but by their mastery over emotions. This mastery is not about suppressing feelings or ignoring conflicts. It is about understanding that emotions are energy, and the way one directs this energy determines their spiritual strength. Those who are truly chosen by God do not allow emotions to control them. They do not waste their divine energy trying to prove a point, win an argument, or seek validation from those who cannot see the bigger picture. Instead, they move with wisdom, knowing that the greatest battles are not fought with words, but with discipline. From the very beginning, humanity has struggled with emotions. Whether it was Cain's jealousy over Abel, Moses' frustration with the Israelites, or even Jesus' moment of agony in Gethsemane, emotions have always been a test for those called by God. However, what sets apart the chosen ones is not the absence of emotions, but their ability to rise above them. While the ordinary person reacts impulsively, allowing anger, fear, or pride to dictate their actions, the chosen ones recognize these emotions as mere tests. Every emotional trigger is an opportunity for growth, a moment where the soul is refined like gold in the fire. It is in these moments of intense emotion that the true warriors of God are revealed, not in their ability to destroy their enemies with words, but in their ability to remain calm, collected, and deeply connected to their divine purpose. One of the biggest traps of the modern world is the obsession with being right. People argue endlessly, desperate to prove their intelligence, their righteousness, their superiority. But in the eyes of God, wisdom is not measured by how many arguments one wins. It is measured by how well one controls their spirit. Proverbs 16:32 states, "Better a patient person than a warrior, one with self-control than one who takes a city." This is the divine principle that separates the chosen from the ordinary. The world glorifies those who conquer lands and destroy opponents, but God glorifies those who conquer themselves. The greatest victory is not over others. It is over one's own impulses. Imagine two warriors standing face to face. One is consumed by anger, ready to strike at the slightest provocation. The other stands firm, unmoved by insults or threats. Who is stronger, the one who lashes out or the one who remains composed? The world may see the aggressive fighter as the stronger one, but in reality, the one who masters his emotions holds the true power. Because emotions are energy, and energy can either be scattered in meaningless battles or channeled into divine purpose. The chosen ones understand this. They do not waste their strength on trivial conflicts. They do not let distractions pull them away from their mission. They are warriors of a different kind, not warriors of words, but warriors of the soul. But mastering emotions does not mean becoming indifferent. It does not mean shutting down feelings or pretending that nothing affects you. It means feeling everything deeply, but choosing how to respond. It means understanding that just because you feel anger does not mean you have to act on it. Just because you feel hurt does not mean you have to seek revenge. Just because someone disrespects you does not mean you have to lower yourself to their level. True power lies in the ability to choose peace when chaos surrounds you. It lies in the ability to walk away from an argument, not because you are weak, but because you know your strength is meant for greater things. Many times, the chosen ones are misunderstood. They are called weak for refusing to engage in pointless debates. They are mocked for choosing peace over pride. But what the world does not see is the immense power that lies beneath their calm exterior. To walk away from an argument requires more strength than to stay and fight. To remain silent in the face of provocation requires more discipline than to respond with anger. The weak are slaves to their emotions. The strong are masters of them, and the chosen ones. They do not seek to dominate others. They seek to dominate themselves. It is easy to get lost in the heat of the moment. It is easy to feel the urge to defend yourself, to prove your point, to make sure the other person knows they are wrong. But the chosen ones know that the real battlefield is within. Every time an argument arises, they ask themselves, is this worth my energy? Will this bring me closer to my divine purpose, or is this a distraction? Will winning this argument make me stronger, or will it simply feed my ego? These questions guide them, reminding them that their mission is far greater than any temporary disagreement. Jesus himself embodied this principle. When he was falsely accused, mocked, and humiliated, he did not argue. He did not waste his breath trying to convince people of his innocence. He remained silent because he knew that his purpose was far greater than proving his righteousness to those who could not see. His silence was not weakness, it was divine wisdom. He understood that some battles are won not with words, but with endurance. And in the end, his mastery over emotions was what led to his ultimate victory. This is the path of the chosen ones. They do not argue for the sake of argument. They do not let their emotions dictate their actions. They remain firm, steady, and unshaken, knowing that true strength is found not in the noise of debates, but in the quiet mastery of the soul. They understand that every battle is not theirs to fight, and that sometimes the greatest victory is simply walking away. Mastering emotions is not just about restraint, it is about transformation. The chosen ones of God do not merely suppress their feelings, they refine them. They understand that emotions are not enemies, but tools. Anger can be turned into passion for justice, fear can become wisdom, and sorrow can deepen compassion. But this transformation requires awareness, discipline, and a deep connection with divine wisdom. The world teaches people to react, to defend, to attack, to justify, but the chosen ones have a different path. They do not react, they respond. And their response is not based on ego or impulse, but on the clarity of their higher purpose. One of the greatest dangers of arguments is that they consume energy. Every word spoken in anger, every thought spent on proving a point, every sleepless night replaying a conversation is energy drained from one's true mission. The chosen ones know that their energy is sacred. It is meant for building, for healing, for creating, for fulfilling their divine assignment. When they feel the urge to argue, they pause and ask, is this worth my divine energy? More often than not, the answer is no. Arguments may satisfy the ego, but they do not serve the spirit. And so, the chosen ones step back, not out of fear, but out of wisdom. But stepping back does not mean allowing injustice. There is a difference between avoiding arguments and standing for truth. The chosen ones are not passive, they are strategic. They understand that some battles must be fought, but they choose their battles wisely. They do not fight to be right, they fight to bring light. Their words are not weapons of destruction, but instruments of truth. When they speak, they do so with intention, not emotion. They do not speak to win debates, they speak to awaken souls. Consider the story of King Solomon, one of the wisest men to ever live. Two women came to him, each claiming to be the mother of a baby. Instead of engaging in endless argument, Solomon used wisdom. He suggested dividing the baby in half, knowing that the true mother would rather give up her child than see it harmed. His mastery of emotions allowed him to see beyond words, beyond accusations, and into the truth. This is the mark of the chosen ones. They see what others cannot. They do not get lost in the noise of conflict. They look deeper. While others are busy reacting, they are observing, analyzing, understanding. The chosen ones also understand that arguments are often distractions. The enemy knows that if he can keep you entangled in meaningless conflicts, you will never fulfill your destiny. Many people waste years trying to prove themselves to those who will never see their worth. They fight battles that drain them, trying to convince people who are committed to misunderstanding them. But the chosen ones refuse to play this game. They know that not everyone deserves an answer. Jesus himself demonstrated this. When accused and questioned by those who sought to trap him, he often remained silent. He understood that some arguments are not meant to be won but avoided. He knew that his time and energy were too precious to be wasted on those who had already made up their minds. Silence is a powerful weapon. The world expects a reaction. When people insult you, they expect you to defend yourself. When they provoke you, they expect you to lash out. But when you remain silent, you take away their power. You show them that they do not control you. This is why the chosen ones are feared. They cannot be manipulated by emotions. Their silence is not weakness. It is a sign of supreme strength. It takes far more power to walk away than to argue. It takes far more courage to let go than to hold on to resentment. This does not mean that the chosen ones never speak. It means that when they do, their words carry weight, because they do not waste their voice on meaningless debates. When they do speak, people listen. Their words are not thrown around carelessly. They are precise, intentional, and filled with divine authority. They understand the power of their voice and use it wisely. They do not argue to prove a point. They speak to shift atmospheres. They do not engage in petty disputes. They focus on matters of eternal significance. Another reason the chosen ones avoid unnecessary arguments is because they understand the law of energy. Every battle fought in anger leaves a residue in the soul. Every moment spent in conflict plants seeds of bitterness, stress, and distraction. These things cloud spiritual vision and weaken divine connection. The chosen ones guard their peace fiercely because they know it is the key to their power. A calm mind hears the voice of God more clearly. A heart free from resentment is more open to divine guidance. Every argument avoided is a step closer to spiritual mastery. The true test of emotional mastery comes in moments of provocation. When someone attacks your character, spreads lies about you, or tries to undermine you, how do you respond? Do you defend yourself? Do you fight back? Or do you trust that truth does not need defense? The chosen ones understand that no lie can stand against divine truth. They know that time reveals everything. Instead of fighting every accusation, they remain still, allowing God to be their defender. They understand that those who seek to destroy them will eventually be consumed by their own actions. Instead of getting entangled in battles that do not serve them, they rise above, knowing that their destiny is too great to be derailed by distractions. Mastering emotions is a lifelong journey. It requires daily discipline, constant self-awareness, and deep spiritual grounding. But those who succeed in this mastery find themselves operating on a different level of existence. They are no longer controlled by the chaos around them. They move with purpose, they speak with wisdom, and they act with precision. They are unshaken by the opinions of others, undisturbed by the storms of life. They have learned that true power is not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. This is why the chosen ones are different. While the world fights over words, they fight for wisdom. While others seek to win arguments, they seek to win souls. While many waste their energy proving their worth, they walk confidently in the truth that their worth was never in question. They do not allow emotions to rule them. They rule over their emotions. And in this mastery, they find true freedom, true strength, and true divine power. True mastery over emotions is not just about self-control. It is about transformation at the deepest level. It is about becoming so aligned with divine wisdom that external circumstances lose their power over you. The chosen ones of God understand that emotions are like storms, intense, unpredictable, and often destructive when left unchecked. But just as a storm cannot shake the foundations of a mountain, external chaos cannot shake those who have mastered their inner world. This is the ultimate strength, not in overpowering others, but in remaining unshaken no matter what comes your way. The world thrives on conflict. Everywhere you look, there is division, political battles, family disputes, personal grudges, endless arguments over beliefs, identities, and status. People are addicted to being right. They invest their energy into proving their superiority, defending their opinions, and tearing down those who disagree. But the chosen ones do not engage in this endless cycle of conflict. They understand that truth does not need to be proven, it simply is. Instead of wasting their energy on arguments that lead nowhere, they operate from a place of wisdom, choosing when to speak and when to remain silent. One of the greatest tests of emotional mastery comes when you are misunderstood. Nothing provokes the human ego more than being falsely accused, misrepresented, or ridiculed. The natural reaction is to defend oneself, to set the record straight, to make sure others see the truth. But the chosen ones do not fall into this trap. They know that time reveals everything. They do not need to convince anyone of their truth, because truth does not rely on approval. Jesus himself was mocked, accused, and sentenced to death based on lies. Yet, he did not argue. He did not try to clear his name in front of those who had already made up their minds. He understood that some battles are won not with words, but with patience. In the end, his silence spoke louder than any argument ever could. This is the power of the chosen ones. They do not seek validation from the world. They do not chase after recognition or approval. They know who they are, and that is enough. When faced with attacks, they do not waste their breath trying to prove themselves. Instead, they stay rooted in their purpose, allowing their actions, their peace, and their unshakable spirit to speak for them. This is not weakness, it is divine strength. The ability to walk away from conflict, to let go of the need to be understood, and to remain calm in the face of provocation is a power that few possess. Another test of emotional mastery comes when faced with betrayal. The deeper your calling, the greater the betrayal you will experience. The chosen ones often find themselves betrayed by those closest to them, friends, family, trusted allies. It is one thing to ignore the insults of strangers, but what about when the wound comes from someone you love? What about when someone you trusted turns against you? This is where many lose control, allowing emotions to take over. They seek revenge, hold on to resentment, or drown in sorrow. But the chosen ones do not allow betrayal to break them. Instead, they use it as fuel for their growth. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, not an enemy, but a disciple, someone who had walked with him, seen his miracles, and heard his teachings. Yet, Jesus did not seek revenge. He did not curse Judas or demand justice. He simply accepted that betrayal was part of the journey. This is the wisdom of the chosen ones. They understand that every betrayal is a redirection. Every rejection is a divine setup for something greater. Instead of wasting energy on resentment, they surrender to the higher plan, trusting that what is meant for them cannot be taken away. Mastering emotions also means mastering your thoughts. Every argument begins in the mind before it manifests in words. A single thought can spiral into anger, frustration, or bitterness, but the chosen ones monitor their thoughts carefully. They do not allow negativity to take root in their minds. When an insult comes, they do not dwell on it. When someone tries to provoke them, they do not replay the conversation in their heads, imagining all the ways they could have responded. Instead, they let it go. They understand that holding on to negativity is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. The chosen ones practice what is known as spiritual detachment. This does not mean they do not care. It means they do not allow external circumstances to control their inner peace. If someone insults them, they do not take it personally. If someone disagrees with them, they do not feel threatened. They have mastered the art of letting go, understanding that attachment to emotions, opinions, and conflicts only leads to suffering. They do not need to prove their worth because their worth is already established by God. This level of emotional mastery gives the chosen ones a supernatural advantage. While others are easily provoked, they remain calm. While others are distracted by arguments, they stay focused. While others waste their energy on temporary battles, they invest their energy into their divine purpose. This is why they rise above the ordinary. Their discipline sets them apart. Their self-control elevates them. Their ability to move in silence without being swayed by emotions makes them unstoppable. But this mastery does not come overnight. It is a daily practice, a lifelong journey. It requires breaking old patterns, rewiring the mind, and constantly choosing peace over pride. It means being aware of emotional triggers and learning to respond instead of react. It means understanding that every conflict is a test and that the real battle is not with others, but within oneself. It is easy to win an argument. It is far harder to win over oneself. But the chosen ones embrace this challenge. They do not seek the easy path. They seek the higher path. And so, the chosen ones move differently. While others fight to be seen, they move in quiet confidence. While others argue to prove their worth, they rest in the certainty that they are already chosen. They do not waste energy on battles that do not serve their purpose. They are not led by emotions, they lead their emotions. And in this mastery, they find true freedom. The world may not understand their silence, their restraint, or their refusal to engage in meaningless conflict. But that does not matter. They are not here to be understood by the world. They are here to fulfill a divine mission. The chosen ones do not seek victory in arguments. They seek mastery over themselves. True strength is not in proving a point, but in maintaining inner peace. They walk away from conflicts, not out of weakness, but because their energy is sacred. Their silence is wisdom, their restraint is power, and their focus is divine. While the world fights meaningless battles, they rise above, unshaken and unstoppable. Mastering emotions is their greatest weapon, for in self-mastery, they find true freedom. They are not ruled by emotions, they rule over them. And in this mastery, they fulfill their divine purpose.